Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, Shelley Went to Show live, local, topical, and relevant, my friend. So let me tell you how that interview came about. I need to take you through the whole story. So the first part of the interview that you heard was me asking Congresswoman Greene about her tweet this weekend. And she tweeted out a lengthy tweet this weekend. If you did not get a chance to see it, I have posted it on my Facebook, and you can read it there. But she tweeted out a lengthy tweet, and it starts off with, "If you're losing me, you're losing the base." And she talks about first, as she said, about Israel and passing laws, the anti-boycott law. She talked about that. Then she talks about she also talks about going to war with Iran. There's some hot talk around Washington, D.C. about going to war with Iran, and why would we do that? To fight on behalf of an ally. That's their job, to protect themselves. And then she went into Ukraine, saying that we cut this minerals deal. This is all her tweet, that she cut this minerals deal, that we cut this minerals deal with Ukraine, and that means we're going to have to protect that investment by putting boots on the ground, and she's against that. And so it was a lengthy tweet, and the media immediately jumped on that tweet to, as she was saying, to try and separate her and say, oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene turns on Donald Trump. And I never saw that tweet as her turning on Donald Trump. I actually saw, when I first read it, was her kind of being her saying what she believes, right? We're allowed to disagree, right? We're allowed. I do it many times on this show. President Trump will do or say something, and I'll say I disagree with it. Doesn't mean I'm turning on him, right? I voted for him. I want to see him be successful. That's my guy. And you heard her answer. But the most crucial, one of the big parts of this interview was her talking about and dropping the term Georgia first. I don't know about you, but I have been doing this show for several years now. I have not heard anybody talk about use those two words together, Georgia first. I've, of course, heard America first. I've heard that hundreds of times, but I've never heard anybody use the term Georgia first. And she said it a couple times. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking I asked her if she's going to run for a governor, because I'm saying to her, this sounds like you're running for governor. And she laughs. And I should have followed up with, well, are you running for governor? That's my fault. Because in my mind, in that moment, I'm thinking to myself, she's running for governor. She's running for governor. And that's what I'm thinking in my head. That's why the words didn't come out of my mouth. So that's my fault. I take full responsibility for not following up with the question, are you running? It sounds like you're running for governor. Are you? I should have done that, and I apologize for that. But she really sounds like someone, because a congresswoman, and it was her idea to spin. She said, I'd like to spin and take another and go a different direction. Let's talk about our home state. And it never occurred to me that Marjorie Taylor Greene would run for governor. And this is all speculation on my part at this point, right? It's the fact that I did the interview. I could have read this interview someplace else, and I would be saying the same thing. The fact that I conducted the interview and the fact that it was said here first and you heard it here first, I'm really speculating now. Right? But the way in which this interview went, the way in which she says, I want to take us to Georgia, because she's a congresswoman. Of course, she's out of Georgia. She's in Georgia. She's in Rome, Georgia. But as a congressman, it's 290,000 person district. And the way she spun on it so quickly and had a policy right there and waiting. No state income tax was fascinating to me. And she had it all laid out. She even had a tagline, Georgia first. That's a tagline for someone who could possibly be running for governor. That is a tagline. Marjorie Taylor Greene for governor, let's put Georgia first. It ties into America first. It's actually a genius tagline. Now, I got to tell you, I'm still on Team Burt Jones. But I got to tell you, it does become a fascinating race if she jumps into a governor's race. Now, I don't know. I'm speculating. This is what we do on talk radio. We hear things, we see things, we read things, and then we comment on them. And that's what I'm reading, those tea leaves, having the actual conversation. And when I said, you sound like you're running for governor, that's a tagline, she just laughed. She said, oh, no, I'm just trying to help us down here, help my constituents here in Georgia. I'm not running for governor. But she just laughed. And I'm not, again, I don't want anybody to run off and say Shelley said, but I'm saying it. Yeah, I guess I did say it. You can run off and say Shelley said. But that's what I heard. And it could be the talk radio host in me that's fascinated by that kind of race, because as we transition over to Governor Kemp saying that he's not running for Senate, then who does run for Senate? You've got Chris Carr already announced. We got Burt Jones is going to jump into the race probably any day now. And he said in May when I last spoke to him, and we played it on the show here, he said around May he's going to make his announcement. Got Brad Raffensperger. Now that his calculus changes with Governor Kemp not in the Senate race, maybe Brad Raffensperger gets into the Senate race. John King, we know, has already announced that he's running. He said it on this show. He's waiting for Governor Kemp to make a decision. He said that right here as well. These are all people breaking news on our show, by the way. I want everyone to understand that if you're listening. So the race is wide open. Now I'm hearing rumors. Don't know. I guess just rumors. I'm hearing rumors that Chris Carr may jump out, get out of the governor's race and jump into the Senate race. We don't know. These are rumors. This is what I'm hearing. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing, which makes it even more fascinating. I guess the point I'm trying to make to all of you is right now, the best job in America right now is being Shelley Winter on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk, as a political talk host locally in Georgia that only focuses on the state of Georgia primarily, who knows all the players, who's had all the players on his show. It is the best beep time to be on talk radio. We'll be right back. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. When we come back, I need to talk about the AI-generated Trump as Pope. We got to talk about that. We'll be right back.